This is 4 pounds of clay. Throwing it on a bat, that way I can remove it without distorting it. And if you throw on a bat, always dampen the wheel head a little bit. Helps the clay stick. Not too wet. Throw it, and beginning is just the same as usual. Just center the ball of clay. Get it moving. Now this is a little smaller than the standard size dinner plate that I usually make. I usually make them 5 pounds, which comes out to being about 11.5 inches wet. And then after firing, it goes to 10 3/4, which is approximately the same as a standard dinner plate and fits perfectly into your cupboard and into your dishwasher. So if you've prepared the clay, softer clay is better than harder clay for plates. You don't have to push it around as much. It's not as difficult to push around. You don't have to lift it very much. So I've got it centered. The next step is to push down in the center, like you're opening it, with a lot of water, and the heel of your hand. Once you've gone down a little bit like this, pull your arm towards you. You're going to do this and repeat it several times. Now each time you do it, you have to make sure that outside edge is still on center and sealed along the bottom edge. So you bring it out, push down, and push in. And do it again. Push down and in. And again. Down and in. One more time. I want to get it down so I still have plenty of clay there to trim a nice foot. So probably just 1/2 inch or just a little bit under. So I've got a nice pancake here now. Seal the outside edge by pushing down and in and keeping it on center. Now the last pass, you always want to make sure the center of the plate is the lowest so it curves up. So I'm going to push my heel and my hand in there. And this time I'm going to gently lift my arm up as I'm doing the pass, which will create that curve that we want. And I'm stopping right before the edge. So I already have a plate on its way. I have to use a lot of water because I've got so much of my hand against the clay. Okay, let's check to see how thick it is. I have actually 1/2 inch. I could go a little bit thinner. So I'm going to go down one more time and pull that clay out and stop before I get to the edge. Now this next step is very important because you don't want your plates to crack. And to keep that from happening, you compress it. And to compress it, it's the center finger. It's like diving into a swimming pool. You start on the outside edge and hold still. Then just gradually move into the center. And sometimes you'll get a little bit of extra clay coming off. Getting there. And stopping at the center. Now, it's not a plate yet. You want to raise the walls. And before you do that, practice using the rib. And the rib to use is this thin, flexible metal rib. So what you do is you place it on the plate and then give it a push so it bends a little bit. And it'll smooth, get that slip off of there, and also shape it. See, I'm stopping at the edge. Now the next step is to raise that wall. So what I do is wrap the sponge around my finger, wet a little bit in here, and you push your finger down tight against the wheel head and angle it a little bit so your index finger is very straight, and then push in. The clay will come up. And now I want to keep that curve right here at the transition. So what you need to do is just glide over that, and then once you get past it, you can start pushing the clay against your outside finger and it will raise. My finger's not straight up and down, it's at about a 45. Once you have that first pass, do it again. Now I'm just using my fingertips. It's still angling up. It's easy to make a pancake. It's hard to make a nice plate. There's always clay underneath this curve here. Don't try to defeat gravity. You can't. I'm thinning it out, stretching it out a little bit. Now to finish this off, there are a couple different ways. You can have a plate that has a nice continuous curve all the way from the rim to the middle, or you can have one that has a rim that's flat. So for the continuous curve, you can put this in here, push down, bring it up, push the clay up against the rim. Now, if there are problem areas, just hold there for a while. Put it down, hold still, and just let it do its magic. Sometimes I find it's easier. It's hard to see when the rib is over here. As long as the rib is facing in the same direction as the wheel's moving, you could turn it and put it this way. So, chamois and round off the edge, and there's a finished plate. Now you could make a flat rim. Restaurants like this because there's a lot less space for food. I like it because there's more space for me to decorate. Take a flat, sharp edge, put your hand under the front, right in front of you, rest it on there, and just let it come around and around and around. Now beware, when you do this, make sure the rim is still at a bit of an angle. Don't try to go absolutely flat, because in the final firing, it's going to flatten down. It's going to slump. Just finish this off. Let's get this a little more refinement. There, that looks better. One more shot with the chamois. Clean all that extra water off the wheel. Put the point of your stick underneath and right against the wheel head so there's a place for the wire to go. Now it's a good idea to cut the plate off before you take it off the wheel, because if you wait, the clay shrinks, and if it's stuck to the wheel, it can crack. So the best way to do it is to do it now. I'm holding the wire very taut, tight against the bat. Turn it on slowly, and that way it's a little bit easier to take it through. So there's the plate. And I'm going to let that dry to leather hard. Then I'll trim it for you.